Why, hello there everyone. I'm the Kumo Sensei, and welcome to another live stream. And oh boy, it's been about 2 weeks since the last live stream, but last week I was super busy, and this week I was busy, but not as busy. But I'm officially back, and I would like to discuss about business matters and basically how I'm doing. But I'm gonna give everybody a little bit of time to hop into this live stream if they can. And I just woken up, by the way. I took a nap. I just woken up from my nap just to live stream and talk with you. So don't mind me if I'm still a little bit jumbled, but I'll slowly catch up to myself once I get out of my sleepy mode. But anyhow though, I hope everybody's doing well. For me personally, I've been busy, but business matters. I should be able to start next week on October 1st because that's when I reported to the Department of Revenue and Sales Tax that was when I was selling. So I should be able to start my operations then. And also, still looking for an accountant. And honestly, that's the hardest part because I don't want to do the accounting myself. Hello there, John. Hope everything's going well. There was a lot of anime news. I've been keeping up. Some of them kind of sad. Some of them are very interesting. But we'll talk about that later, you know. I really just gotta talk about myself for a little bit because everybody's been wondering about what I've been up to. Because a lot of push-up videos. But now that I'm live streaming, I guess I could use this time to explain a lot of stuff, you know. So currently, I'm still looking for an accountant, and this is actually harder than I expected. I just thought I could just basically call an accountant, get an accountant, and I'll be done and good. But, ooh, support my aunts. Good luck on that, John. That's all I can say. I don't want to look, I don't want to get too personal into other people's matters, but John, I wish you the best. Like, that's all I can say. Because I don't want this to be I don't want people to get too personal here because that's kind of dangerous because this is the internet. You don't really want people to know too much about yourself. Same thing for me here, but currently though, I'm doing fine. Just a bit exhausted. A lot of phone calls, I'll admit, but I'll slowly get it figured out, John. And everyone who's watching. Let's hope I do, because I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a scary thing, because I don't think anyone in my family, or anyone in general around me, has actually gone through the steps I have. But it's a lot of bumps and roads, honestly. I think the biggest blunder for this business venture so far when starting is the fact that my supplier, the person I was gonna order my inventory from, basically don't have any more of what I wanted. So I basically don't have anything crazy to sell, is what I'm saying. And that's kind of the whole point of a business, is to sell something. But if there's no product to sell, it becomes kind of a problem of just trying to figure it out, you know? And man, it's a lot, honestly. I'm fine, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm super exhausted. It's really just going around and just trying to figure out stuff and trying to get things going. That's basically where I'm at. But tomorrow is Monday, which brings in a new week. New week, I'm hoping for new results. Because this week, I was basically just wasting this week away, just trying to find an accountant. And then personal matters had to come up, which was the dance battle that I talked about on this channel and on Discord. But I'm glad that I'm through with it, because that was completely unnecessary, but that was something I just got to get done personally. I did post a little bit of my dance practice of just me getting warmed up for myself before a dance battle, a day prior to it. Posted it on my shorts, by the way, on this channel. Really just me goofing off, honestly. Just trying to freestyle a little bit. But I did win, though. But I'm not gonna lie, that took a lot out of me. And now I'm back on the diet and I feel kind of hungry already. I'm gonna feel much worse, but I just gotta survive until Tuesday. Tuesday 12 p.m. noon. If I can get through that, if I can get to that date, then I should be fine, I think. And then bills are stacking up a little bit. I do have money saved in case bills become a bit too high. So I'm not too worried about that. As long as things don't come up that requires me to take out of my bank account or my business bank accounts. I did open a business bank account, by the way. It was very interesting because no one in my family has ever done it before, so I'm the first. So it was a learning process, I'll admit. But I did got it figured out. So I do have a separate bank account, business bank account now. And it came with my own business card. Well, debit card, that is. I'm not going to show it on stream because I don't want people knowing my debit card number, but that was pretty cool though. It feels great to be in my own business, but I do have future goals of what I want to do with my business. One thing for certain is that I really got to find somewhere to go to, a workspace essentially. I'm trying to find a workspace where I can live while working, but that's not easy for me, John, because if you live in the United States or if you live anywhere in the world, we're currently in a situation of hello there, Eggers. Basically, the reason why I don't really have a workspace, quote unquote, or a business workspace is really because business spaces or basically anything revolving around the housing market is absolutely terrible. This is just pure facts at this point. So nothing is affordable as of now where I live, because I wouldn't even, like, it's just beyond me, honestly. Everyone's expecting the housing market to crash, but I don't really see that happening. Even though it's inflated way too high, the math to me doesn't add up where I live because they're building more housing units and more apartments. But, like, where's this money coming from? Because this housing market, like, is just bad outright. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm in the process of just trying to figure things out, honestly. I'll slowly figure it out as I go. But really though, finding a new supplier for my business is currently the goal, and finding an accountant as well. People say I could, everybody's recommending me to do the accounting myself, but it doesn't make sense to me because I'm not a numbers person. Even like the thing about the reason why you really want to get your accounting right is because you're trying to avoid the IRS sending any disclosure notes or anything like that through the mail. It's just that I'm not a big fan of the IRS, and they are scary. Anything government related to me is scary. Sammy. It seems like this housing issue is only getting worse around the entire world. I don't think the housing market is going to crash because it's just like I know it crashed in 2008, but that was like a miracle, honestly. Even though it was a disaster in economic history with a recession, it was a blessing for those who saved up for a house during that time or had money saved for a house. But I don't think anything like that is going to happen anytime soon, unless a miracle happens again. But really though, at this point, I'm in a position where I either had to choose between getting a warehouse or a business space for my my business, or I have to actually choose getting a home. So I was like, well, if that's the case, I might as well just look for a business space and just live in it until the day I can actually get a house. Because it just, like, it is absurd to me. A business space is about the same size as a house around my area, but housing is more expensive than basically housing or houses in general are more expensive than actual business spaces. So in my logic, in my head, it makes more sense if I just get a business space and live in my business space until I can get an actual house or a housing place, whether it's an apartment or something. Because I just couldn't believe how atrocious this housing problem is. Like, it is outright bad. But, like, the process of growing up in this time of, or this era, is just not great. Because you have to remember, I graduated in 2020, right when the pandemic started. So, like, that was already a bad time for me to graduate college. Imagine coming out of college and the world is shut down. You have no job because of this quarantine. And basically, since you're new and fresh off college, there's like no guide of where to start coming out from this pandemic. So like, this is like the craziest time to be an adult, honestly. Because now that you think the pandemic is over, you would think everything goes back to normal. But in reality, it just gets much more complicated. This is not me. I don't want to sound like I'm ranting, but this is just like the situation that I'm currently in. It's not. I'll be honest. It could be so much worse, but it's not great either as of now. But I do have to actually clear around my space behind me because I gotta install more shelving units and also more stuff to make space for my inventory. I don't know exactly what I'll do, but we just kind of had to figure it out as we go as I start my business. But that's currently where I'm at, though. So next week, I'm actually going to be like physically moving stuff around. And that's going to be very nice because I think people are tired of seeing this background here not changing much at all for the past few years. But it's going to change a lot. Everything is going to appear a bit more stacked. And that is my life currently. But I don't want to say I'm the most optimistic person, but I try to just relax a little bit because I feel like the more you freak out, the less control you have over your own life. So I tend to assess my situation, whether good or bad, because I don't want to. We're grown adults here, by the way, so I don't think it makes sense for any of us to be freaking out as a young adult, especially someone in their mid-20s. But yeah, that's currently where I'm at. And also, I'm not hiring anyone as of now. Maybe besides an accountant, but everyone keeps asking, will I hire an apprentice? And the answer is no, not yet, personally, because I feel like I can do everything by myself. So, getting inventory, the language barrier, obviously, things like the tarantula work, feeding, maintenance, I can basically do it all by myself. Like, I don't need an apprentice or to hire someone to do the work. Yes, it's going to be tiring, but I can do it just fine as of now. But there will be a time where there will be a time where I will find an apprentice, but I haven't found that individual yet. So, it's just crazy, honestly, how much business advice, quote unquote, I've been getting on my emails. A lot of people say I can do it. A lot of people are saying I should do this, I should do that. But I'm going to let my legacy unfold itself, whether I succeed or whether I fail long term. Either way, to be fair, we really don't know how it's going to be. But I'm truly thankful and I'm truly appreciative of what I just have and making it this far already. You know, life doesn't really go your way at times, but you just truly need to be content on what you have. Because sometimes what you have is what someone else wants, you know? So I don't really take anything for granted at this point because I come from a place where, here in America at least, I come from a place where I'm poor, I don't have much, and basically I just gotta take whatever I get. But that's just me personally. But hey, my goal, I have so many goals for this business, it's crazy. The first thing I really want to do is reach out to the Asian countries. So, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, China, anywhere in the Asian countries I would really like to get access to, because I really want to make the Asian countries a powerhouse for tarantulas. Because for those who don't know, when it comes to the tarantula business, the tarantula market, they're Japan and Korea and maybe Taiwan and maybe some places in China, they're decent, but in comparison to the US or in Europe, they fall behind excessively far. Because here's the thing, when it comes to the Asian countries, we don't really specialize in tarantulas. We focus more on fish. Fish is the biggest one. Fish, amphibians, and basically sometimes birds. Birds, I guess, is fair. We don't specialize in tarantulas. Tarantulas is very niche. So I would really like to actually catch those countries up in this hobby. Because there are some species here in the United States that is like $10, which is worth 20 times as much over there for a sling. A baby tarantula, that is. So I know exactly what the goal is. I have a vision set in my head. But I do also want to help out with the frogs as well. I'm going to do a lot of frog stuff. Hello there, Pirlo. I'm doing fine. It's just that I'm in the process of starting up my business. So I'm just basically stating my future plans of what I'm going to do, what I'm currently doing, and pretty much everything revolving around that. But I'm super ready for this business, and I understand that not everything is perfect. There's going to be a lot of bumps on this road, a lot of mistakes, but I'm praying that all the mistakes that I do make, I'm praying that the majority of them will happen in the beginning. And there's a reason why I say that. It's better for bumps and mistakes to happen early on when you're new than to let them build up and become worse later on down the road. Because it makes more sense once you take that process. But that's currently where I'm at, though. I'm fairly confident. What is your business? My business is currently revolving around exotic pets, but specifically tarantulas and basically spiders. As you can see behind me, all of those containers, which everyone has been asking that I answered in all my videos, all of it is spiders. And my business is going to be revolving around my spider work and also revolving around exotic pets. Yes, that is my business. And I am very experienced at what I do when it comes to working with spiders. The only thing I'm not great at is financials, such as maths, accounting, and taxes. Those are the only things I'm not good at. However, when it comes to selling, marketing, well, technically not really marketing, but the spider work and the business within the spider market, I'm very good at, because I have been working with spiders for such a long time. Over 10 years at this point. Over a decade. That's crazy. Like, to the point where I'm basically a spider expert. A lot of people do hold me up in high regard, but I am just a normal person like everyone else. But I do want people to understand that I didn't dream of becoming very knowledgeable and very skilled in my work of area when it comes to spiders. It more so just happened by accident. I think it would be a great story if I said that I set myself out to become one of the greats. But in reality, that wasn't really the case. It just kind of happened, you know? But man, would that be a killer of a story if I said I was fated for greatness. No one saw that coming, honestly. But yes, a lot of people do hold me up in high regard. It's pretty interesting, honestly, how, like, on this channel, I refer to myself as an ordinary guy, but when it comes to, like, the spider hobby, you at least heard my name somewhere down the line, or you may have bought a spider from me, or that was part of my lineage, my line of tarantula. It's crazy, my dedication to this hobby going unknown. That's why I started my YouTube channel, Laxo. Because that is essentially my legacy. Because a lot of us tarantula breeders, And a lot of us who work within this hobby, we are basically thrown under the rug. People don't really care about this arachnid hobby is pretty interesting. I don't know how to explain it. I think the best way to explain it is that no one really cares about this hobby. They only care about getting the spiders. So when it comes to about the people who's working behind the scenes, we don't really get credit for what we do. But for those who do though, we are basically greats. So a lot of people do recommend, some people do consider me to be a legend, which is crazy. I've done a lot in this hobby already. Like, I've bred endangered species of tarantulas. I've worked with all tarantulas, big and small. I worked with some very niche species and some very rare species. The only thing I haven't done is breed some species that I want to breed, and also I haven't imported or exported yet. But that's the thing I really want to do. But for those who don't know, when you export or import any tarantulas or any animals, you need to import and export license, and then you need to find an exporter or someone who's willing to ship to you that has their legal documents to do so. So that way your stuff doesn't get seized by the government and no one shows up at your house to arrest you. But it is super expensive is what I'm saying. I'm saying it's around $400 to $500 a box to ship across the country or out of this country or into this country. And that doesn't include the spiders. That only includes the shipping box. So if you ship the empty box, a box that has nothing in it, that's like $400-ish at cheapest. It costs more the more it weighs. So let's say you bought 100 spiders for $1,000. Shipping will be let's say $450. So the spiders was $1,000. The shipping was $450, and then the permits itself to legally ship those spiders is about $100 to $200. So you've basically paid about half that amount just for the spiders itself. That's the only reason why I don't export or import. It's really just because it's too expensive of a business venture to make. You're going to lose money, essentially, is what I'm saying, if you do it as a business. But someday I will get there while working with frogs. I'm not going to speak on too much about working with frogs because I really want to get established with what I want with frogs first. So that is going to be my secret that I'm going to work behind the scenes while the tarantulas take up the limelight. But once I start producing frogs though, I am extremely picky about quality when it comes to frogs. I remember, let's use Wagyu beef, because in restaurants, whether it's the fanciest restaurants or the cheapest restaurants, you've heard that the Wagyu is the most expensive beef. And I remember back in the day when Wagyu was first coming to the United States, everyone was saying how dumb, how expensive, and how pretentious Wagyu beef is. But the quality speaks for itself. You have to understand, in Western countries, we don't really care about quality. Western countries usually only care about mass producing something. Like for example, let's use cheeseburgers or something. Here in America, we just mass produce cheeseburgers, but if you go to a foreign country or something, or they specialize in burgers, you're getting like top tier quality. You know, you might not get a lot of it, but you're sure for certain getting quality. And that's really what I want to do with the frogs. I want high grade, high quality, selective pairing. Like, I know what I want. I have a vision for those frogs of what I want to produce in my facility. Once I actually do get a facility someday. Oh, I'm sorry everyone. I'm talking about business ventures, but it's just that I have so much in mind. But really, this first goal is getting a freaking accountant because I don't want to do the math. I am scared of accounting because I know that if you're off by a little bit, if you're off by $1, you're basically going to end up having to submit another paperwork, and that's going to cost money. And if you keep getting it wrong, the IRS is going to send you a notice, and I don't want that to happen to my business. That's just annoying. So I'd rather just hire an accountant and just do the work for me. But that's currently the goal though, everybody. So yeah, hope that answers some questions, because man, they're still coming in too as I answer them, I bet. But it's really nice though I'll tell you, this channel, this Kumo Sensei channel and the Laxo channel, they are complete different parallels for certain. Like I know my age demographic on this channel and on my Laxo channel. Everyone on this channel is much younger compared to my Laxo channel. So there's an age gap there. The age range is crazy, honestly, that me personally I have gotten from ages 13 to like 60s, 70s almost. The age range is just so crazy, man. But I'm truly thankful for my community on both of my channels, because you all have given me this opportunity that I did not expect. No, I don't get paid on YouTube. No, I'm not that big of a YouTuber. But the fact that everyone knows that I exist in itself is such a great pleasure, honestly. Especially for my legacy here. I've dedicated so many years into my work. Like, not just the Tarantula work, but everything I truly find passion in. And I hope that everyone who watches this or watches my videos know that as well. If you're passionate about something, like, pursue it, you know? Like, it really hurts, honestly, when people let their passions burn out or they give up on it. I'm not saying your dreams will always come true, but I'm saying that you shouldn't let it die either, you know? Oh, I can't let my dreams die just yet. Not until I complete my legacy. I don't know what my legacy will be, though. It may be bad, which I pray it isn't. It may be good. But I hope that I've done more good than bad. I always try to do as much good as I can. I do help out a lot of new spider keepers and a lot of new tarantula breeders who come into this hobby. So if anyone has ever considered coming into this tarantula hobby, I'm always open ears, because a lot of the old school tarantula breeders and the long established ones, they are rough. They are very rough, I would admit. At most, they'll just wish you good luck. But in terms of the work, you're going to have to do a lot of it by yourself. I try to help out as much as I can. Sometimes I give away free tarantulas, but you have to earn that though. You have to earn it. I won't tell you how to earn it, but if you do the work, I will help you out though. So, like, I do give away free tarantulas, by the way. Free out of my pocket. But if it's for the future tarantula breeders, then it's worth it, I promise you. We have to give the new generation a chance now, because no one... it's kind of frustrating, the gap between an old head or someone who's like a legend and someone who's new. The gap is really big. It like the people who are in between, it's just crazy. But someday you'll guys understand, if you ever do come into this tarantula hobby though. It's very cheap to actually care for a tarantula, but it's super expensive for the tarantula itself. But I've dedicated the years and the work. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm super exhausted, but at the same time I love it. It's just so funny to me. People will come and go and quit. But anyhow though, I guess that's enough about business talk, because like, I think that'll catch everybody up to speed, whether they're watching this, you know, as a clip or something. But that's just some interesting stuff though. Now, I did see a bunch of anime news that everybody wants me to talk about, especially on Discord. But I don't want to go too nitty-gritty on it because it's kind of some of them are good, some of them are bad. I know that Frieren Season 2 was announced. That was pretty interesting. But we really gotta... Hold on, let me check on my anime list. Sorry guys, I'm gonna check on... Yep. It's official now. Frieren dethrones Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'm looking at it right now, by the way, everyone. That is like the most pleasant thing to ever see when it comes to anime news. This just never happens. I still do watch anime and read manga, but not as frequently as I used to. And it's really just because I'm getting caught up on life. Oh, maybe I should have mentioned that. But first, let's pull up. This is my anime list for a second. So this is Frieren here, Season 1. And it's beating Full Metal Alchemist now. It's official at this point. Basically, it's been over a year. So that's the good thing. But a lot of people have been asking, do I still watch a bunch of shows or movies? I still do, but not as frequently. Because I've been caught up on things such as IRL life, basically, to where I just don't have time as I used to actually watch shows, movies, and things like that. So I apologize if I seem a bit out of date on some stuff, but it's really just because I've been busy. Like, my work has been getting busier and busier, and I would actually like to start dating again soon. It's pretty interesting how my parents wants me to get married already, but I don't have time to get... Like, I don't have time for relationships because I've really been trying to get my life together since the pandemic. But I'm working as hard as I can, so I hope everyone understands that. So if I don't talk about TV shows, or if I don't talk about movies as much as I used to, just note that I've just been busy. Not that I quit watching shows and TVs and things of that nature. It's crazy, honestly, though. What? Monogatari's series Off-End Monster is number 6? That is just crazy. Sorry. I'm just looking at this list as it goes. But I do kind of feel bad. It's not that I'm outgrowing anime or TV shows. It's just that I've grown up in a way to where I just don't have the free time and leisure as I used to. But it still doesn't mean I don't know anything about what's going on with the industry, though. I still keep up with movies coming out. I still do keep up with shows. What is your dream job? I don't... Honestly... My dream job. I'm actually on my way to my dream job, actually. Working with spiders. My spider business I'm starting up. Like... Man, that is crazy. Wow. That is crazy. I never... Wow. I never thought of it like that, actually. Dream job. Well, I'm sorry. I need a second. So, I'm not gonna cry or anything. I'm not, don't worry. It's just so surprising. I never really thought of it like that. Like, I had dreams and goals, but I never saw it as a dream job. Because a lot of the dream goals I have, a lot of them are pretty much complete. Or they're on the way of getting there. So, let's talk about my careers. Okay, because I'm dancing. This career is 100% completed. Without question. I can stop dancing today and I would be happy. Because I was a street dancer, then I became a street performer, then I was competing as a competitive dancer, then I became a dance instructor. So that job, that career, my dream job, dream goal is done, completed. But I still do teach because I'm very passionate about it. My spider work. I've been doing this spider work for so long, and now I'm in the process of starting my dream business. I have a vision of the spider business, like a facility, a giant facility, a million spiders. I'm on the way of starting my spider business. So it's not 100% my dream of where I want it to be, but it's getting there. And my acting job, my stage acting job, my theater arts stuff, I've basically have that written down as well. It's pretty much done. Wow. You know, I think for my acting career stuff, I really want to end it with voice acting. Not like one voice role and quit, but like once I make it into voice acting, I truly feel like my career for acting can be put on hold. But I never thought of it like that though. Holy smoly. That's like a oh wow. I feel so strange, honestly. I don't really like leaving a dream as a dream. I feel like when you have goals in life, you should try your best to actually go for it. So for me personally, like a lot of the dreams I have, I'm either going for or already past halfway there, or I'm already completed. Isn't that just crazy, guys? Oh, wow. I'm not like... I don't like the what ifs, you know? I don't like looking back on my life and thinking like, what if I did this instead? Or what if I went in this direction? When it comes to my dream job, wow. I've either completed... I'm either already done with it, almost completed, or I'm past halfway there. Man, wow. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel strange. Yes, I like spiders. But, yes, I like spiders a lot. That is actually my business I'm starting up, is working with spiders. I've actually been working with spiders for over a decade. This is why I'm the Kumo Sensei. Like, Kumo is spider, Sensei is Sensei. So I'm the real deal, by the way. But it's crazy when you put in so much time into your passions that it literally comes true and you don't even pay attention. Oh wow. I'm laughing so hard at myself because I don't know. A lot of my viewers on this channel are relatively young. They're either a teenager or they're going to college. And for me personally, I was in that position, but one thing that made me stood out from everyone else was that I started young. So like, a lot of people have been asking like, how do I stay in shape? How do I get fit? Or how am I so consistent or whatever? Everyone's question about me, it goes like past 10 years. Like it goes back a decade from when I started. Wow. It is crazy. Man, it tells me a few things. One, I've been doing this for too long when it comes to chasing my passions. But the biggest surprise of it all is the fact that I never paid attention. Like, I really haven't. Same thing for anime. You know, a lot of people think I'm like, even though I am an anime historian and anime trivia guy, a lot of people also need to understand that anime was something I've watched since I was a kid, you know? Whether it's through Doraemon or something not for kids. But it's crazy how we gone full circle, everybody. It's like I'm an old man, but I'm still so young. You know, my advice for everybody is to just start. And then, over time, you'll develop the necessary skills. Because it's crazy. Yeah, it's been a year since Friedman came out, John. Season 2's been announced as well, so I'm looking forward to it. I would be laughing if Friedman Season 2 becomes number 2 on my anime list and Fullmetal Alchemist becomes number 3. that would make me laugh, but I really don't see that happening. Bez, how can you work with spiders? Like I stated, when it came to working with spiders, it was not something I would be lying if I said, I wanted to be the best when it comes to working with spiders. I am the real Spider Sensei. You know, that's not really the case. Spiders just kind of... It happened accidentally, but in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, in a sense. In life, things will always come your way when you don't expect it. It's really up to you on what you do with it. That's the thing you need to understand. Like, everything that I'm good at, or everything I'm very knowledgeable on, it did not come because I want it. It just kind of just happened when I was young, and I just wanted to pursue it. And then over time, you don't look back on it, but it becomes your passion and your dreams. And essentially, it becomes your dream career, and you don't even notice it. And then the moment it happens today, that somebody asks, what's your dream job? You're like, oh, wow. I've been living my dream job, and I just never noticed it. That's kind of disappointing in myself, how something so simple I did not notice. That is so immature of me, guys. I need to be more thankful about about this position that I am, because a lot of people you may not even recognize it will dream to be in this position, you know. So I'm truly thankful for everyone who's been watching my videos, whether it's this channel, my Laxo channel, or people who aspire to have some sort of knowledge or skill set that I have. You know, just chase it with passion, and it'll come to you when the time is right. Yeah, a lot of people say I haven't aged a day, which is kind of crazy, honestly, but I do age. It's just that I'm Asian, so I age backwards. It's just how it works for us until we hit 50, and then everything comes in at once. Tomorrow is the last day of September, but I really have so much things to say about September. September was a very interesting month for this year for me. It's like everything happened around, like, the last month and a half. Everything just kept happening to where, like, I just couldn't have time to breathe. I'm hoping in October, like, I can start chasing towards that dream of mine, though, of my spider business. But now that it's come true, though, I'm super excited to see what the future holds. A lot of mistakes were made, I'm not gonna lie, but not all the decisions I made was the right one, but at least not all of them were the wrong one either. But I'm super excited, though. So next month, business, and also, as I stated, I would like to start dating again soon, but that's going to be more of a personal thing. I'm not going to go too much about my personal life about that yet. This is a yet, just to make it more exciting for you guys. But let us see what the future holds, though. I'm not going to lie, though. I find it kind of sad that a lot of the new younger people who are growing up, a lot of them either don't have any solid goals, or a lot of them are pretty much directionless in life. You know, I've never really been in that position. I was in that position when I was a kid, but adversity and challenges can really make or break a person. Like, I'm not the most religious person, but God gives his toughest battles to his most capable warriors. If your life is hard right now, just know that it could be you being tested. Just keep going, is what I'm saying. Like, don't give up so easily, everyone. Because trust me, I would be lying if I said this journey has been easy. I had not had a breather in a very long time. But I know for damn sure that if I stood still and not do anything, I would go nowhere. So I just keep, like, that's the reason why I just keep going. It's because, like, you just can't stand still forever, you know. But I really hope, you know, that we can push through it all. And yes, I've seen the loss of voice actors and a lot of people within this industry. It's kind of sad, honestly, how this year we lost a lot of great voice actors. But, you know, I really hope that, like, we can respect those voice actors that came before us and just not try to focus on building our own careers as a voice actor. Because I did stated that after this Tarantula work, once I get the business started, I would like to go more into voice acting. And I would, but I gotta get my stuff together. But it's honestly just disappointing how a lot of people disregard the work of others. But I always respect, you always need to respect the people who came before you. Period. Like, and, well, when it comes to, like, legends in any industry, always respect those who came before you. You don't have to be them, or you don't have to like them, but you just have to respect what they've done and contributed to this, you know, to their passions. But that's just my personal opinion, John. They had their time. They will forever be legends. We will have our time as well. As long as we don't give up, that is. Just keep going, everybody. People, like, they'll have their time for sure. Just don't give up. It's crazy how, hello there, Shadow. It's just crazy how people give up so easily nowadays. And I think it's because people want results as soon as possible. There's so many. Voice acting is not an age. Like, you can be 60 years old, but if you sound like you're 20 years old, you can still voice a 20-year-old. You get until later if you sound young. You can always succeed for certain when it comes to voice acting. Voice acting is open to everyone. But it's kind of funny how actors... Okay, let me tell you a little bit about behind the scenes when it comes to this entertainment industry. People don't really regard voice acting as actual acting, quote unquote, compared to theater arts, stage acting, television acting, movie acting. I think people consider voice acting to be the lowest fruit of acting because you're just using your voice. I disagree with that, but let's just say, let's just put it lightly. Voice acting in this acting industry is considered the low-hanging fruit. Is there something you missed out in life? Yes. Bez, you asked a very simple, straightforward question that no one's ever asked. Yes, the one thing I missed out in life is a childhood. Period. That is the one thing I don't have. A childhood. This is not me trying to be like a self-pity guy, but, you know, if I had a proper childhood, I think it would have been a completely different story. I don't think I would be here if I had a childhood, but the fact that I grew up so quickly, it kind of forced you to chase after something, you know? So I was like, well, yeah, let's just see what happens, and then, you know, everything just slowly came together. And I really hope everyone understands that, though. But Bez, I think you asked the biggest question that no one has ever asked. Literally. Which is kind of funny. Maybe it's because it's too personal, but I guess that's fine to say that, though. The one thing I missed out on in life is definitely a childhood. But the trade-off, though, was it worth it? Depends on how you look at it. I still do think that the earlier you start, the better the chances you give yourself later on down the road. There's a saying that I still keep with me till this day, and I say it on stream and on video as well. Is that, do you want the consequences now or later? You pick. No matter how good or bad a decision is in life, there is going to be consequences. It's just up to you to decide whether you would like to deal with these consequences now or later. Some people are always later, later, later. Some people are now, later, now, later, later, now, now. For me, I always charge when my situations head on. I don't like to let it simmer in the back. Like, if I, like, I don't believe in the ideology of relax today, work tomorrow. I am work today, tomorrow, as much as I can. And then, whenever that time comes, freedom. That's the way I see it. How do I deal with depression? I'm actually really bad at depression, but I think one thing that helps me out and helps a lot of people out is therapy, for starters. Therapy does not get rid of your depression, by the way, but it helps you understand yourself a bit better. And then you just kind of have to figure out a way it doesn't go away. That's pure facts, but it becomes more manageable. But that's my approach, though. You need to find a way to manage it. And I'm still trying to manage mines now. But I don't really like to use... You will notice this every single time in my videos. I never use the word depression. Because I don't like downplaying it. But I don't like people who victimizes themselves because of it, you know? You know how someone makes a dumb decision and they blame depression? I hate that stuff. Because it's like, you can't just use depression as a cop-out for your dumb decisions, you know? Sometimes you do make reckless decisions when you're depressed, but it doesn't justify every decision that is bad, you know, that you made. Sometimes you just make a bad decision, pure facts, accept it, you know? So I really hate it when people use depression as a cop-out, especially on YouTube. So when it comes to depression, for me personally, I don't like to talk about it too often because I feel like everybody has their own demons. I have my own, you have your own, and we have to find ways to cope with it and not let it cop us out on every decision in life. This is why, like, it's basically what I'm saying about consequences. Do you want them now or later? Depression always comes and goes when you don't expect it, but please don't use it as an excuse, man. It doesn't justify dumb decisions people make. Like, I think 99% of my problems is a self-made decision or things out of my control, not because of depression. So even now on my videos, I don't use the word depression. I just say I'm not feeling too good today, or I'm not feeling the best. Like, it's better to say it like that than say, today I feel depressed. Like, I would never downplay depression. I just can't. No, that's an unforgivable sin for people who use depression as a cop-out. Because there's actual people out there who are victims to depression. And I pray people on YouTube just stop using depression as a freaking cop-out. It drives me nuts, but my take though. But yeah, that's life for me though. Anime is a good way to cope. You know, that's kind of funny. Anime is actually a really good cope to depression in a way. It takes your mind off things, but it should. Oh, I gotta say this right now, actually. Anime is a good way to battle depression, but anime should not be your only driving force in life to combat depression. If you can find multiple outlets, such as a friend, a family member, or a therapist, I think that will help a lot. Because I've seen people who literally became shut-ins. Like, I don't want to use I don't want to use the term, but let's just say that anime is a great way to cope with depression, but anime should not be your only go-to because you can literally become a shut-in. Ugh. There we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, sorry guys, we had a small disconnect, but I'm officially back. Okay, back online. Let me type that down for you guys. Hold up. There's gonna be like a 5-10 second delay. But we're officially back. So for some reason my OBS disconnected. Okay, but now that we're back. But essentially though, everybody, back to what I'm saying is that I want people to understand that anime should not be an escapism. Like, I mean, no, it should be an escapism, but it shouldn't be used as your only coping mechanism. Because I've seen people, and like, I think anime is fun to watch, but we shouldn't let it become our only thing in life, if you get what I'm saying. Because too much anime can be unhealthy, and that's basically just what I'm saying. Because I don't want people to become shut-ins, because then they start closing themselves off from the world, and they start living online, and it's just not healthy. Speaking from experience, by the way. And it really takes a wake-up call, or a wake-up slap, for you to finally recognize that, holy smoly, there's more to life than just anime. But I really hope that if you're watching anime as an escapism, that's fine. But please understand that your life goes on. It's really sad to see so many years lost from people trying to run away into anime. And I don't want to sound rude, but I know people, not just a person, I know people like this. And they're at a point where, like, they're socially inept. I don't want to say it like that, but they don't do well in conversations as they would as a normal person. They speak, I think the best way to put it is that their speech patterns is very short. They speak incomplete sentences. It's just really sad, honestly. And I really hope that everyone has a friend, or they go outside from time to time to actually talk to people. Not just like your parents, your siblings, or family relatives. Because it really does become kind of depressing for those people, you know? Because, like, I actually know people who can pretty much talk online, like typing in chat, like a normal person. But when it comes to actually going outside and talking to a normal person, they actually struggle with that. And I know that sounds very strange, but trust me, everyone on the internet, like, you're a stranger on the internet, so you can just go however you like. But the moment you go outside into society, you instantly recognize that, like, holy smoly, it is a different world out there. And I really hope that people do go outside from time to time, you know, and actually talk to people, not just family members or friends, because it's really hard for those people. Like, I don't want to call them otakus or shut-ins, because it doesn't apply to all of them. But there are certain people, I don't want to use the term, but, you know, some people say hikikomori, but I don't want to use that term because it's, in a way, I find that term to be a bit derogatory to some people. But this is just me, you know, trying to help people understand. Self-reflection is not easy for a lot of people. That is one thing I recognize in today's time. A lot of people are either too self-conscious or too self-aware, but they're not both. Please be self-aware and also please be self-conscious, you know? It's really hard. This is a really touchy subject because I don't want to call people out, because I don't know if this person, it could be someone you know, or it could be you, you know, you never really know. Do you like it in the US of A? I actually think living in the United States has its ups and downs. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. You just kind of had to take it for what it is. I'll tell you this though, living in the United States, I find that going outside and talking to people is very easy if you live in the United States. Everybody is so open-minded. Like it's crazy. Like living in the United States, you can just go out and talk to somebody who's jogging by and you'll end up talking for like a whole 3 to 5 minutes on just some random topic. Happens to me every single day I go running. Like somebody approaches me, talks to me. It's very nice, honestly. I like that aspect of the United States. Everybody's open-minded and they just speak whatever comes to their mind. There are some things I don't like about the United States though, even though I lived here all my life. I think one of the things that I think is getting worse is one, is the housing market. Two, is the tipping culture. I do like tipping people, but whenever I pay for a service or things like that. But the one thing I am not a big fan of is when I'm forced to tip, like, as a tax, essentially. It is crazy how the tipping culture in the United States is getting more and more expensive. I remember about a year and a half ago, I went out to go eat with some acquaintances of mine after an opening night at a small theater show, quote unquote. And I remember, like, the only tips they offered was 20%, 30%, and 40%. Like, that is expensive. Imagine 20% of what you're paying going to your tip, like going into the tip. So the total cost was $100. Let's say $101, but let's say $100. And there's a 20% tip. So 20% of that 100 is $20. So I paid $120 US. Like, if that does not sound crazy to me, like, I don't mind tipping. I actually do like tipping, but I don't like it when it's forced. Like, I'm going to tip regardless, but why? It can be a good thing or a bad thing. But, man, it really can be scary when it comes to this tipping culture here in the United States. And it's crazy how it's getting more and more expensive. Because there are some places that does a 25% tip charge when there's nobody assisting. So, here's an interesting story. So, there was actually so I went to go eat out one time. And I'm not even kidding. It was only $25 for a shake and a smoothie, okay? And everything was automated. There was no people working in this vicinity whatsoever. It was completely robot made. It was kind of like a vending machine, sort of is, like a vending machine. And then after paying for, like, after the total came out, they literally asked for a 25% tip. Why am I tipping this machine? And I was just so confused. There was no people working. It's like a stand. It was like a stand, but everything is automated, machine, like 100% machine made. Like, and I'm tipping this machine. That's essentially what I'm saying. That is crazy to me. So that is the one thing I find that is becoming more and more egregious. At this point, you're tipping for no reason. I like tipping to waitresses and waiters and people like that. I like tipping to people. I don't like tipping to automated machines. That would drive me nuts. Like, that's essentially just outright egregious at that point. And but that's just the only thing I don't like about America, though. Everything else about America is pretty decent. Like, literally, it's pretty decent living in America. I still would like to actually travel around America, because America has people don't understand this, but if you live in America, every state is like its own country. I've always said this to a bunch of my foreign friends, even my Canadians, so I used to have friends in Canada, but a lot of them graduated from university and they moved to the United States. But I told them that if they're coming into the United States, just know that every state in America is essentially a different country. Their accents are different. Their terminology is different. Like, it is so bizarre, honestly. So that was my heads up that I told them if they ever do come to America. Which they live in America now, but I don't know where they are in America. But that is the craziest thing about America, though. It is like a fusion of every culture, like in one country. Like, man, you just wouldn't believe it at how some cities, some areas in the United States is just so compact. But as always, that's America for you. But I don't really like how Twitter. So everybody, for some reason, everybody's perspective of America is that they're dumb people, they're very vocal, and they're idiots. And then they post the same political videos of like everybody going crazy, people saying all this dumb stuff about like here in America, like dumb Americans essentially. That is not how America is. I'm just gonna put it into that perspective. America is like every other country. They're just normal people. It's just that it's always the stupid people or the most vocal people that draws the most media attention. So like you'll see so everybody's perspective of every single foreign friend I ever had, whether it's from Canada, Australia, the UK, Europe, whatever, the first thing that pops into, like, the first thing they ever think of is guns, the loudest people, the most patriotic people in America. That is like the smallest percentage of people in America. The only reason why people think of that is because they're the most, what I call, idiots, media vocal people. And so the media just puts them out as like, hey, here's your American stereotype, just go with it. But I think everybody should visit America at some point, though. I think America is pretty nice. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. Every country has their ups and downs. Like, that is the one thing, though. That is actually kind of a double-edged sword about America, is that they're very vocal. They just speak their mind. So you kind of know what they're saying on top of their head. So for me, speaking, I could just speak out of my head if I want to. It's not crazy. Some people in America are just too extreme, though. Going outside in America is like it's like a wasteland. Anything can happen in America. That is one thing for sure. I remember, I would never forget this, by the way. One time I went running, and there was literally a guy who was just pure naked out on the street. I don't know why, but god dang, that was crazy. Like, you can see some of the craziest stuff just going outside. I kind of like that, though. Just the randomness of America. Like, you can actually see some really cool stuff sometimes, and some really interesting stuff. Such as the highway, like just such as police chases and stuff. I find those, I hate police chases because, like, people in the public eye, or people in public, whoever's outside can get hurt. But at the same time, it can be interesting at times, though. To see an actual police chase, and then the dogs coming out chasing after people. Pretty interesting. But overall, though, guys, back to what I'm saying about anime, though. If it doesn't seem like I'm talking about anime much, I'm still watching anime, by the way. It's just that I don't really have time to watch anime as I used to. It's kind of funny how people are finally starting to connect the dots between me, stage acting, and stuff like that. Because back then, people just called me the anime. Like you're an old school Kumo Sensei YouTube channel member, like someone who's been around for a while. You'll probably consider me as like the anime guy. And then at some point, people consider me to be the spider guy for the Kumo Sensei. And then now now we're basically transitioning to where people are calling me the Aqua of Oshinoko of the Kumo Sensei phase, I guess. I like Aqua a lot in Oshinoko, but he's not a realistic character though. As sad as it is to say. Because a lot of people want my input on what I think of Oshinoko, Aqua, his acting skills and whatnot. It's really good, and I actually do agree with his methods. Some of his methods are pretty realistic. It is exaggerated though because it's anime. Anime exaggerates stuff. So like when he talks about his emotions and drawing it out for acting, that is actually very realistic. It's just that the way it's done is very anime style, like very exaggerated. But I think the one thing people need to understand about Aqua in Oshinoko, if you ever do watch Oshinoko, is that Aqua is not a realistic character when it comes to acting. There is something that is called range in acting. And basically your range can vary. Some people are better at acting more of as a bad guy, a good guy, a side character. This is why in some movies, your favorite actor is always stuck in a comedy movie, is because that's their acting range. They specialize in comedy. So, and then that's why in horror movies, you see the same actors, because they specialize, their acting range revolves around horror movies. Every actor has a set range. For me personally, I'm usually either casted as a side character or as the bad guy, because that's just my acting range. But the thing about Oshinoko in anime is that anime exaggerates things, and Oshinoko, when it comes to Aqua, they make Aqua the all-rounder of acting. And this is just not happening, period. There is no actor that can play every single acting range in acting. Because at that point, it just becomes ridiculous. Like, it just drives me nuts how, like, people think acting, if you're an actor, you can act out any role. That is just not true at all. Like, if you're an actor, it's already limited. You just need to figure out what you're good at and what you're bad at. Here are the reasons why people saw anime for time: unconventional animation style and filler arcs. That is so true, John. Unconventional animation style and filler arcs. Not really the filler arcs, because now modern animes don't really have as much of a filler as they did back then. But unconventional animation style is definitely one of those. Time, I'll say time and money, not just time. Uzumaki Shadow, I think Uzumaki is a masterpiece with how it looks now. It blends 3D CGI with 2D animation with Junji Ito's style. I have high expectations for Uzumaki. I can't imagine you as the bad guy. You probably pull a switch when you're acting to go from Kumo Sensei to the bad guy. But very accurate. That is pretty accurate. It's a switch. But the transition, like when you're transitioning your range from one to another, it doesn't always go with a switch. This is something you have to train yourself to do. I always find that the best way to get into an acting role, like if you're a bad guy, just think about stuff that makes you angry or things that annoys you. And then it will help you go into that direction. Or if you're trying to feel depressed or try to cry on a acting stage, think of like sad movies or a sad memory, you know? That's how I start. And then it later on becomes more like a switch. Yes, I saw it, John. They announced both the sub and the dub for Uzumaki. I'm super excited. Adult Swim is basically the one that licensed Uzumaki, and they already went out of their way to find all, like, they planned this whole thing out, by the way, when it comes to Uzumaki. Uzumaki was a planned project. So when they announced it, I was like, please be black and white. Please be black and white. Because I don't think Uzumaki will actually work with color. Because some of the scenes wouldn't be as... it wouldn't pop. Because it only pops in black and white, in my personal opinion. So to see that they actually kept it black and white, I knew this was something special. Like, I am super excited. Can you believe it? Like, I remember they announcing it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with the first announcement. I was like, yes, this is what I need. Something with sauce. I was like, yeah. But I'm super excited for Uzumaki though. I'm hoping that that the CGI blending of the 2D animation, I hope that it doesn't throw people off, because I know some people don't like CGI in TV shows, especially with anime. But from what I've seen, the CGI looks pretty well done and pretty well blended into Uzumaki's 2D animation style. So I think we should be fine for the most part, though. I do wonder how they're going to animate some of the stuff. So here's the thing. I don't want to spoil Uzumaki for those who haven't read the manga, but there are some scenes, in my personal opinion, that I really want to know how they're going to animate. I'm going to use some examples out of context. Twisters, cramped housing, fire spirals, or fire coming down the spiral tower. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just going to say stuff out of context. But I really just got to know how they're going to animate some of those parts, because like, I don't know, it's very fluid, but I really got to see it to believe it, because like the clips we've seen so far are basically clips that we've already seen already, or some of the more like well-known parts of the Uzumaki manga. But I really want to see how they animate some of the more how should I say, more detailed or more fast framing or fast moving parts, because like Uzumaki is very interesting. Yes, I did, but I don't know. I wouldn't really say it's an anime, quote unquote. It's more like a OVA or like a short special for Junji Ito's stuff. Poot. I think that's the best way to put it. But plus, like, I don't know. I don't really consider it an anime. I consider it more like a concept thing. Kind of like how they did with Little Witch Academia. They didn't make an anime. It's more of like a short special, and then they made the anime later. I will categorize that into it when it comes to Junji Ito's stuff like that. The shorts. But I'm super excited to see what they do, though. I do find it very funny in a way, because they talk about Japanese culture. So allow me to enlighten you. The whole thing about Uzumaki revolves around spirals. But for those who don't know, in Japanese culture, spirals are a symbol of happiness. So Junji Ito was like, you know what? I'm going to take this concept of spirals, and instead of making it something happy, I'm going to make it horrible and scary. And it's funny how it's like one of his best works of all time. It is very interesting. By the way, that's how Naruto got named in Naruto, because Naruto in ramen soup or in ramen is usually have a spiral in it. If you ever get those fish cakes, and I find that to be so funny. Like you think spirals are meant to be scary, but in Japanese culture, spirals are literally a sign of happiness. So, but yeah, Ultimatum though, yeah, it's good to see you again. But for those who don't know though, now you know. So I find that to be so funny and so cool. It's like taking something that is like a cultural standard and then flipping it on its head. I think the last time we seen that was Pulse with like the fear of the internet or something. That whole movie by Kurosawa. I think it was directed by Kurosawa, but man, the pure irony that people don't understand about Uzumaki though. Spiral is a sign of happiness, and then now to the foreigners, like a lot of people who are not Japanese, like they won't understand just the cultural concepts of spirals. They will forever think of spirals as being like this cursed thing, when in reality is meant for happiness or making you laugh. It's like a positive vibe sort of thing. But for those people who are not Japanese, though, I really hope that you guys don't see Uzumaki and think of it as like bad omen. It's not bad omen. It's meant to be good omen, like good, like a good blessing in a way, happiness. Oh, but I am super excited for the animes coming up though. They even announced some season 2s or some new seasons, such as Slime, a new season for Slime. Overlord is getting a movie. I think they already announced it, but I think they're gonna come up with a new season. And then you have My Happy Marriage, one of my favorite anime romances of this time period, getting a season 2 for 2025. And then Frieren is getting a season 2. A lot of animes getting season 2s or sequels, and I'm so down for it, man. Like a lot of the new stuff though, like a lot of the new stuff that's coming out, I'm just not as interested for some reason. I think it's either too niche or it's just drawing in from like a certain type of niche audience. I don't know. It's just not for me. I do like Spy Family though. I think Spy Family is great, which is why I have these figures here, by the way. Oh yeah, I don't know why people keep asking about that. Hold up, let me switch up real quick before I jump back in. So these here are they're basically the Spy Family figure set, collection 2, I believe. And I'm missing one, which is why there's an empty spot right here. That spot is for Lloyd Forger, I believe. No, that's for Twilight. The Twilight chibi figure here. But if you're wondering though, that's the set of these chibis here. It's the Spy Family collection set 2, I believe. So yeah, I don't know why people keep asking what type or what figure set is those. But now you know. But I need to actually either buy Twilight or do something with it. Waiting for Vinland Saga. That's going to be a while before we actually get something again. Dandadan, yeah, Dandadan. See, I love Dandadan, but I think people overhype it. But I do think it's worth the hype, though. I'm not gonna lie. But Vinland Saga is not coming anytime soon, from what I'm aware of. But Dandadan, though, I have really high hopes. Now, there are some panels compared to the scenes of the trailer that is different. So I really want to see what they do with it, though, John, because like I stated, we really had to see how they adapt it, because I'm kind of concerned about that. I know that Dandadan is a great Shonen Jump series, but it comes down to how they adapt it. Because if they change too much, that's the thing that kind of worries me, is adaptation. Like, how much do you change, or how much do you fix, quote unquote, to some people? Because change in animation or change in certain scenes can really make or break series. I think some great examples, without a doubt, is Akame ga Kill, Tokyo Ghoul, and I can go on and on. Fruits Baskets, the first Fruits Baskets from 2006 anime, or 2004 anime. The manga is really good. Yes, the manga is great. The manga is like its own unique art style. I remember people were talking about Dandadan, comparing it to Jikokuroku, on how different their manga styles were, and how, like, I don't know. But I feel bad for Jikokuroku, though. The anime, or Hell's Paradise in English is what people will call it. Like, the anime wasn't bad, but it wasn't as hyped as it was supposed to be. But at least season 2 was announced for it, though. Mononoke's movie, yes, I'm super hyped for it. I love Mononoke. I still think Mononoke is probably one of the best storytelling animes there is in terms of like telling folklore stories on a folklore style. Come to Netflix, but Netflix, for no reason, will probably block it in my region. That's the one thing I find annoying about Netflix is that their subscription rates have gone up, and not to mention some of their shows are region locked. So I find that to be annoying because, like, I support anime industries and whatnot by subscribing to subscription fees like Crunchyroll and whatnot. But if they're going to keep raising their prices, it has to make sense to me. Because Netflix, like, I remember when Crunchyroll raised their membership prices way back. Like, they actually improved a lot of stuff. Netflix, they just raise it because why not, you know? So it drives me nuts about that. But, man, it's just crazy. Original Fruits Baskets was 2001. Thanks. I really do like Fruits Baskets a lot, though, still. Is My Happy Marriage good? If you like romance, just shoujo romance, then yeah, you'll like it. But it's not meant for everybody, though. I'm a big sucker for the romance genre, but a lot of the romance animes nowadays is just rom-coms, which is romance comedy. For those who don't know what rom-com is, it's just romance and comedy combined. Not a big fan of a lot of rom-coms because I feel like they're just trying to sell the high school teenage romance factor, not necessarily the actual romance factor. That is one of the reasons why I really like My Happy Marriage. Is because it feels different and refreshing, like something I needed. Because I was getting a bit burned out from modern romance animes and shows. So I really did think it was a blessing for My Happy Marriage. I actually love the art style, by the way, for the light novels for My Happy Marriage. I really wish they sold posters or had some posters that was for sale, like legal, like from the company or something. There are too many anime to watch to a too much investment. That is one of the reasons why I stopped watching anime a lot, because it's just too much of an investment for payout that is too similar to another anime, or it just isn't worth it at all. Because, like, you have to understand, I've been watching anime longer than 90% of people on the internet. And I'll tell you, at some point, you come to recognize that a lot of animes are very similar. So it just really isn't worth your time as it used to be. So I just pick whatever I like and just watch whatever I want to now. But there was that one point in my life where I think, like, the way I saw anime was that I had to watch it or I'll be missing out. But I'll tell you this, you're never going to miss out on anime, period. Like, you never will miss out on anime. Because there's just too much anime to watch. So, like, there was a term back then, if you don't watch this anime, you're not a true anime fan. That doesn't apply anymore because there's just too much anime. You can't watch it all. Because, like, when it was my time of watching anime, there was the list of anime was so small, you can watch all the animes that came out each season. I remember there was a point where there was only 10 to 13 animes per season. Like, literally. So within 1 week, you could watch every show that came out that season and catch up really quickly. So that means that, so let's say there's 10 animes per season and there's 4 seasons a year. There'll be 40 animes to watch. If you watch it weekly, each anime weekly, you will catch up so quickly, essentially is what I'm saying. But now anime is just too much. It's too much because, like, anime is becoming more mainstream to where companies are trying to make a buck out of it. So it's not the same, like, from your era to my era to the future eras of anime watchers. But my time was my time, your time will be your time. But I really want to tell people, you know, who watch anime nowadays, or who are relatively new, 5 years or less into watching anime. Yes, 5 years or less. Because if you're 5 years into anime, that's not really long, honestly, compared to like 13, 17 years I've been in. But you'll understand though that like you're never going to miss out. So I think this whole idea of this super anime fan versus a casual anime fan, it's just a waste of time. Like we shouldn't really be we should not be talking down on people who haven't seen this anime or that anime that's popular, because it just isn't. It doesn't correlate, because their time and your time were different. So if I'm going around telling people to watch One Piece, which is over 1,000 episodes, to new anime fans, if they don't watch One Piece, you're not a real anime fan. That is absolutely dog shit. Just saying. Anime is an investment at this point, and we should respect whatever they like. Whether you like isekais, generic tropes, hentai, whatever. We should just come to accept the fact that everybody is different and everybody comes from somewhere different. This is why I really just don't care about what people seen, what people haven't watched yet. Because let's be honest, who's gonna watch like Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Elfen Lied, OG Fruits Baskets, Rurouni Kenshin, the OG anime, the old school Hunter x Hunter, for the first Macross series. Like, those are OG series. And I'm sure that none of you who are watching this, or the majority of you, have actually seen those shows. Because that was from my time, So for me to say you don't watch those shows, you're not a true anime fan, it's just a waste of time. Literally. Let them enjoy what they like, for God's sake. This is why I don't like a lot of anime fans nowadays. They're just too vocal about, wanting to, be the superior anime fan. They're not... It's just so stupid, to be honestly. Please, just respect what they like. And just move on with your life. Because that's just one anime fan of, a million. People always complain about saying, "Oh, it's Kumo Sensei, you're not a true anime fan." Nanda kore. What's this? Come on now. But I feel I miss out because no fruit, no Gintama, no Stand, no Monster, etc. You'll catch up someday. I've already seen all those series, by the way. I've seen Fruits Baskets, I've seen Gintama, I've seen Steins Gate, Monogatari, Monster. I've seen so much animes already, it's crazy. I need to retire from anime. And I still will stand by that, though. I would like to step back from anime. Anime watch list at this point doesn't mean crap. I'm just being honest. I really just don't think it means anything at this point. You want to compare me to other people? That is such an unfair game, honestly. That it just really doesn't make sense to me. It's damn, dude, do you even know anything in my anime? Do you know there's more than just anime to the anime medium, right? There's light novels, visual novels, manga, light novels, web novels, gachas, etc., etc. And people here are just talking about, the anime, quote-unquote. Well, did you know the anime was adapted from the manga, which the manga was adapted from the light novel, which the light novel was adapted from the web novel, which the web novel was adapted by something else? So, if you're not watching, you're not a true anime fan. No, that's not true at all, man. Come on now. As long as everybody enjoys it together, we should be fine. Hello there, Maxie. Sending love your way too. But I really want people to understand that, though, about anime. We all come from different places. Because my time was my time, your time will be your time when it comes to watching anime. I don't want to force people to watch old school series, whether it's from the 90s or such as Cowboy Bebop, not Ergo Proxy, but you understand though. mangas and light novels have fried me. Light novels, visual novels, and books, those are the kind of iffy areas when it comes to the anime fans, because they only consider themselves anime only, which is kind of funny. I think one of my favorite light novels, in terms of, like, story-wise, I have a lot of favorite light novels. I like, I watch recaps a lot now. I don't blame anybody for watching recaps, actually. If you watch recaps, that's fair game on you, I guess. Because nobody wants to watch hours upon hours of shows nowadays. But it's very interesting, honestly. When you... I don't know. When I say I don't know, it's because, like, people don't get with me, or people don't understand where I'm coming from, because... Like, for example, if I talk about light novels like Blue Moon Reverie, or 86, or something, people might think of like what's the anime? This is not an anime, this is the light novel I'm talking about here, you know, or the web novel. So, it's frustrating to me because I come from an era that was completely different from everybody else. Everybody's, in the modern era of anime, everybody's anime only. So for me, it gets really lonely because I am one of those only few people that actually read light novels, web novels, graphic novels, books, gachas, games. Like, I'm the OG, you know. So when people just talk about animes, people think I'm geeking out, but in reality, I'm speaking normal language. It's just the fact that a lot of the people I speak to are not knowledgeable because they're anime onlys. So my era was my era. That's what I'm trying to get at. So just note that if you ever talk about a series with me, you just note that it's not that I know a lot. It's just that I've done more in terms of just watching and reading light novels. It doesn't mean that like I'm better than anyone else. It just means I just went out of my way to actually read the original source material. But that was my time, though. You'll understand someday once you actually jump away from anime. Yes. Jumping away from anime. Because light novels, visual novels, and all the things I've just mentioned, they're their own bubble. If the anime bubble is right here, then light novels is right here, visual novels is up here. They intersect, but they're not one. I've also read the novels and web novels. Oh boy. Okay, I want to test, I'm going to do this someday. Someday, if this channel grows big enough, or super big, I would really like to challenge my own viewers to see how much they really know. From the web novels, to the light novels, to the creators, and if there's an anime, I would like to challenge their knowledge on the people who directs, voices, and animates behind the scenes. I want to test that out, actually. And if you beat me, I'll pay $1,000 out of my pocket, period. I'm that confident in my anime knowledge and trivia. Like, I promise you, a lot of people will just not know who these people are or what I'm talking about. They're going to be Googling, but I'm the foolproof guy because I lived through anime, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. If I'm not on spot, I'll be relatively close. But I'm telling you though, that would be a great concept for a future live stream. But that's only in the future though. If we ever get like a big live stream to where like we have enough people that I can challenge with, then I'll do it. But as of now, our community is still small, so someday in the future though, it's going to be the most interesting thing of all time. because I'm going to open a lot of people's eyes at how poor their knowledge is because they only watch anime and read manga and sometimes light novels. But I'm gonna smack you guys so hard to where you're gonna be stumped. Like there is just no comparison if you want to compare. But like I said, comparing is a waste of time though, right? Just enjoy what you want to enjoy and you'll eventually get there though. I still do think that that one of the most underrated mediums when it comes to this anime culture is books, because nobody reads books. I read books, the digital versions if I can. I still do think my favorite book of all time was Harmony. But the anime movie was kind of bad. I mean, it's good, but not great. I still do think the book for Harmony is a masterpiece. But a lot of people will never read it. They'll probably just watch the movie and just be confused. And then they're probably going to watch a YouTube video explaining what it means. And they didn't read the book. I'm going to be... Oh, I am so ready, guys. I am so ready. I'm going to destroy like 99.99% of all my viewers. Because you're going to be Googling my questions. And you still will not find the answers. Because you didn't live through anime. You just had to be there, honestly. But that will never... Well, that will happen someday, actually. Maybe. If we grow super big on this channel. To where I have like 100 plus people on the stream. But you guys will understand, though. What is it about? I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not worth your time reading the book, honestly. The movie's okay, but I was not a big fan of the movie. The movie is adapted in a trilogy, not in a trilogy, but in a and it's basically adapted. The movies is basically adapted from an anthology. So the anthology actually adapts from Harmony, which is what I mentioned. Suicide or Genocide, I believe, was the other one, and then the last one was Empire of Corpses. I still do think of the three, Empire of Corpses was the best adaptation of the anthology, but I still do think in terms of the books, Harmony was the better one. Period. But don't read Harmony because it's not worth it unless you like super it's not sophisticated, but it's super philosophical. It is a super philosophical sci-fi thriller of a series, of a book. That is not a light novel. Light novels is around 200 pages-ish. A book is like 400 to 500 pages-ish. Is it? I recommend just watching the movie and then just not understanding what happens and then just accept that the movie happened and pretend like you know something. So that way people don't call you out unless I call you out. But I really do hope that people will someday start approaching other mediums, though. That is just not anime, because I think anime is not really a great medium still, which is surprising to say, even though it is much better now. And how shall I explain this? Okay, I'm gonna go back in my day. So you need to understand something. Back in my day, anime adaptations were mostly original, even those that were adapted from a manga. And what does this mean? So basically back then, if there was a manga and they announced an anime adaptation, the anime will adapt only a small number of things from the manga, but everything else will be anime original. So they will change scenes, add new scenes, add in new characters probably, and change the story entirely. And that's basically how anime adaptations work back then. This is why stuff like Fruits Baskets, Elfen Lied, and those animes from the early 2000s were bad, in a way, because they didn't adapt from the manga. Instead, a lot of it was anime original. Like, they said, screw the manga, screw the source material, we're just gonna make whatever we want to make. And I think the best way to put it is this. adapting from a comic book, but changing the characters completely. I think that's the best way to explain it, I guess, in simple terms. It's like having a favorite superhero like Spider-Man and then changing Spider-Man completely. It's no longer Peter Parker. It's no longer a Spider-Man. It's crazy, honestly. But that was anime adaptations back in the day. So this is why I still have like a very iffy spot about anime. Anime adaptations have gotten 100% better, period. That is pure truth. But is it perfect? No, it's not. Tokyo Ghoul came out like 10 years ago now, and I still do think that it got screwed over by changing it up by Studio Pierrot, or Studio Clown. For those who don't know, Pierrot is clown, and yeah, so their nickname is Studio Clown, but it's Studio Pierrot. No, they're not fillers, Put. Put, you're getting stuff confused. There's a difference between fillers and anime switching up the anime material completely. Like, fillers, you know, were not canon. But anime back then was anime. So, like, if it was not perfect, you just had to take it. So this is why some people consider Elfen Lied's anime canon, when in reality it's not canon at all, because the ending for Elfen Lied is completely different from the anime. 1000% different. Same thing for Fruits Basket's anime. Watch the 2001 anime of Fruits Baskets, and then read the manga, and then watch the anime adaptation of Fruits Baskets from 2019. You will see what I mean when I say it's not filler, it's completely different. Because like, people take anime for granted nowadays, but you have to understand, back in my day, if you got an anime, you just basically, the anime studios just told you to shut up and eat our animes, whether it's good or bad, and you just had to accept it. This is why we always paid attention to whoever was directing. Nobody pays any attention to anime directors nowadays, or anime studios, because they really were in charge of what goes on behind the scenes. Akame ga Kill is one great example, by the way, but now you understand where I'm coming from, though. So this is why like my anime knowledge is better than most people's, is really because like you had to pay attention, because you can either get a really good anime or a really bad anime. I really hope that we don't take anime for granted, which 90% of anime fans just take it for granted nowadays. But I am very knowledgeable about anime. But someday though, guys, you guys will read books, light novels, and play visual novels. I think this is funny to say. I actually do think that one of the best anime adaptations from like the 2000s era was Clannad. But here's the thing though. The visual novel of Clannad is super sad. The anime is just sad. Like, but the visual novel is god tier sad. God dang. If you ever play a visual novel and you just want to cry or feel some type of way, I really recommend Clannad. Clannad has probably the saddest visual novel of all time. Second to Air. I think Air is second, or it comes close, but that was a different era though. And then Ryukishi 07 was like, you know what, screw it, we're going to make a horror visual novel and make Higurashi. And then he decided to make a whole universe revolving around it, creating one of the best visual novels of all time, Umineko. Umineko is the One Piece of visual novels, but it is an S tier story, period, without a doubt. I still do think that in terms of visual novels, Umineko is pure S tier. You cannot watch an anime or a visual novel explain Umineko. You literally have to read the entire thing. It is a spectacular story, but the mystery is good, the supernatural elements are cool, and the characters are freaking awesome. I love the characters of Umineko. I even still paraphrase some of them sometimes. I like Battler a lot. I think Battler is a hilariously bad character in a good way. They even still make memes about Umineko, but I love Umineko. Umineko, in my personal opinion, and that's actually where I get some of my acting, like my acting material from, is from Umineko. Because Umineko is a S+ tier visual novel. But it is the longest visual novel of all time. It is split into, I think, 8 chapters. Or something like that. And it is an extremely, extremely long visual novel. If you want to get into a masterpiece, or if you want to get into the one piece of visual novels, definitely Umineko is the one to go to. Oh boy. But man, Umineko is awesome. Like, people still make YouTube videos to like talking about it to this day because of how great it is in terms of visual novels. But if you want to understand the full concept, the full story, and the full cast, you really gotta like read the whole thing. It is worth it, by the way. If you're willing to sit down for about 50, 100, around 50 to maybe 50 to 100 hours, depending on how fast you read, it is worth it. It is an amazing story. But please take notes, because you have to take notes. I remember way back when, in 2013, when I had Umineko, and I remember reading it. Oh man, I still love it. I had to take notes because like some of the mystery elements to it doesn't really explain itself until later on, in a way. Especially the first few chapters. I really like it a lot. I really think that if you like mystery, supernatural, and some interesting characters, and some memes, and you like visual novels, definitely check out Umineko. Umineko is an amazing. I like Umineko better than Higurashi, and I don't know how Ryukishi 07 written such a masterpiece. Oh, the anime, by the way, sucks. No offense. There was an anime for Umineko, but it is bad. I truly think that Umineko's anime is one of the worst anime adaptations I've ever seen. Don't watch the anime. The anime is so bad. Like, I'm not even kidding. Characters are cut off. Story beats are off. It's not good, man. But the manga is okay. But the manga is more like a backlog of like additional character notes. But take it or leave it. I think it's pretty good. But it's more so of like side character stories, not necessarily the full story. Definitely gotta. You know what? I still need to. Oh man, I really gotta. I'm gonna reread chapter 7 for Umineko, because chapter 7 and chapter 8, or part 7, part 8, depending on the translations, is where it really starts to wrap itself up in a good way. I still need to see, like, I still need to not see, but basically relive that moment again. Battler, I'm not a big fan of Battler. I think Battler is the kind of a he's an annoying character in my personal opinion. But by the end of it, he's like a really cool guy. But it's really the side characters I like a lot, because I think the side characters are amazing. Like, I'm not going to spoil Umineko for you guys, because you can't spoil it, by the way. It's too long to explain. It is harder to explain than One Piece, because that shit gets fucking crazy. I truly mean it gets crazy in terms of storytelling. Like, who the hell are these characters? I do not know. Because characters just be popping out of nowhere, and then you don't really get full context of what they are, who they are, what they are, or what they do, until like the mystery starts to unfold itself. Because in the beginning, there's about 20-ish characters, 10 to 20-ish characters in the beginning, but by the end of it, there's like who written this story? Like, who've written this story? Because every character is not what they seem. Man, I really want to talk about Umineko with you guys, but it's kind of hard to talk about it because it is so out there. Like, it is so bizarrely, it's just crazy. I love Umineko though. it's not something. It's not what I consider like a true visual novel fan, but it's something that I do consider everybody go read because it is truly something strangely interesting. I don't know how to convince people, but essentially Umineko is essentially about the Urimushi. Dang, I'm already forgetting already. But you know what? Let's search it up real quick. This, god dang, I hate this anime. This Umineko anime is bad, but I need to actually explain. Like I need to. This synopsis. Okay, let me read it real quick, and I'll tell you how accurate this synopsis is. Because there are third installment highly popular in the Cry series. Umineko takes place. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Umineko no Naku Colony takes place on the island of Rokinjima, owned by the immensely wealthy Ushiromiya family. As customary per year, the entire family is gathering on the island for a conference that discusses the current financial situations of each respective person. Because of the family's head's poor health, this year involves the topic of the head of the family's inheritance and how it will be distributed. I think that's the best way to leave it. This is an amazing story, but it is so badly convoluted to where like you it's just so goofy. I love this story though. You even got some of the most OG voice actors of all time here, such as Yu Kobayashi. I love Yu Kobayashi, by the way. Waifu right here, guys. But see, when I'm passionate about something, I can literally talk about it for days and just keep going. But yeah, though, guys, back to what I'm saying, though. I'm still watching anime, just slow down a bit. Or I don't really want to talk about it too much because I just don't have time. But I'm still here, and I will forever be grateful to anime. Now, unless I get married, obviously, then I'll pretty much quit. Like, but that's for another time, right? But essentially, though, guys, that's pretty much about it for today. I don't really have much else to discuss. Unless you want to talk about the dance battle. Because people have been asking about that. But the dance battle was straightforward. I've already discussed about it. Basically, some guy that I was acquaintance with kept talking trash. And then he wanted to call us out. And then, when I said us, it's more than just one person. I was just one of the few people. I'd be lying if I say he called me out directly. No, that wasn't the case. He called us out. And basically was like, if you gotta go, you gotta go. And basically was like, yo, you're not a great of an answer. And basically, they were just talking all this trash. So I just had to accept. So here's the funny thing. So the thing that I find so interesting was that I wasn't sure if I was going to actually challenge him or not because everybody wanted to accept the call out. So we all decided on the stupidest way possible. Basically, we just drawing numbers, and whoever drew the highest odd number got to challenge him first. And luckily I drew the highest number, so I went out. I won, obviously. But that's essentially what happened. So one day before the actual dance, the dance battle, I actually did goof off a bit one night because I went outside, decided to, I'm just gonna goof off for a little bit. I do have some videos that I did record of me just goofing off for like a second or two. And I did post one of them as a shorts today, if you want to go check it out. Because I was like, why not? By the way, do not steal my dance moves. No, I'm kidding. Be inspired by my dance moves, but don't steal them, because then you'll get called out for real. But that's what I did the day before. And then in the day of, I showed up, I won, and then basically we all went to go eat out. Yes, I even paid for the person I beat, because I'm just that way, I don't really try to be petty, because I think that's just kind of strange, honestly. So I'm very respectful, even towards the people I beat. So we went out, we ate at a Chinese takeout. It was really nice, honestly. It was like, it was kind of awkward because we just kind of sat out, ate, chill, discuss about what we're doing. Because like I stated, multiple people showed up because we all wanted to battle. But essentially, there was only one battle, me, because I drew the highest odd number. And I'm going to be honest, while they are my acquaintances, they're not necessarily my friends. We usually only talk or meet up whenever it comes time for us to teach dancing. But for the most part, though, we really just live our own lives. Like, I work at my other jobs while trying to pursue my business. Another friend of mine works as an electrician. Another one walks as a dog walker. You know, they walk other people's dogs for a living. So we all live our own separate lives. And this is the reason why it was kind of frustrating when we got called out to a dance battle, was because we were pretty much just trying to live our own lives, and then someone just tried to drag something that was unnecessary. And I hope people understand that, like as much as I love things, a lot of the things I love is also just a small fraction of not what I am, but who I am. So I like dancing, I like anime, I like tarantulas in my business, but all of it is still at the end of the day a portion of who I am. I don't want to just be labeled as like that one dancing guy, that one anime guy, that one push-up guy, or whatever. So I really hope that people understand that. This is kind of the annoying thing, honestly, is when you get thrown a label or you get typecasted, honestly, as like this one specific thing. I still do, I haven't gotten rusty because I still teach dancing. Like, people think I've gotten rusty at dancing. No, I'm not rusty at all. Like, I'm hardly ever rusty. Yes, there are times I don't do too well when I'm dancing, but it doesn't mean I'm rusty. Like, man, this is crazy, honestly. But someday everybody will understand. But as always, everybody, I guess I'll call this a live stream for today. And, yeah. Next live stream, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Like, I really don't know. But, let us wait and see, right? I'm hoping I get the business up and going next week. But, gotta find an accountant, everybody. But as always, thanks for watching. And, yeah. I'll see everybody on the next one. Now with that, that's really about it. See.